Hi everyone, it's Kathy Maxson. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fabric bow, and this will be my first one that I'm making. I bought a fat quarter of these lemons. I bought a fat quarter of these paw prints, but this isn't as big as I needed it to be. So I drew out my pattern. So you're going to have a pattern that's going to look like this, and you're going to have a pattern that looks like this. This is going to be the bottom of our bow. This is going to be like our tails, and then this is going to be the bow part where when we make it, it's going to fluff up like a bow. As you can see, I just used my scrap paper, so 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You just got to kind of draw out your shape, and then your shape should kind of overlap, so where your bow and then your tails, they should kind of go together. And then I then cut them out on some cardstock. So I have my fabric I've kind of been ironing, and then I have some felt. And as I don't know if you can see, my little blue glitters from my last video of my mermaid tail are still kind of in my area. And then we're going to use some chicken wire. I got the chicken wire. It's 2.25 inches wide. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And we will need some bonding. So we're gonna bond the fabric to the felt, and then we're gonna cut an extra piece of felt, and we're gonna use our glue gun, and then we're gonna glue in. We're gonna have the wire be between the two pieces of felt, and that will help stiffen up our bow. So again, just kind of draw out your pattern. You know, this is kind of the shape you want. And what I did, I kind of just folded it in half to, you know, make sure my edge got the same. And then I, you know, folded it in half this way just to make sure that my pattern, you know, I did the same on this one. I just folded it in half so my tails became the same. The idea came from inspiration, came from Jackie at Jackie's Wreath and Things. She's over on YouTube. I do know she has a paid tutorial where she will give you the patterns. And I believe hers is going to be way bigger than mine. So mine fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. This was exactly 11 inches. So we're going to cut out our pieces. Let's cut out our felt. I was just kind of measuring this, and I think you're going to cut 2 pieces of each, and basically we need 1 continuous piece. So basically you're going to want double. So I'm going to need 22 inches at least for my bow portion, and then I need at least 13 inches total. So I'm hoping that I can get this piece cut, so I have it on a fold, and I'm hoping I can get the tail's going to be really close, because we're going to need 2 of each. So I'm going to clip this. I'm going to draw to cut this out. So I kind of want to make sure that I kind of pull it, so will I be able to see that? Oh, I could faintly see that. So I have 1 piece there. Yep, I can see it. Don't know if you could catch it on the camera. And I'm going to try to get this one as close as I can to this side. Come down just a little. just because I think I cleaned up all my edges, so. And I'm going to draw this one. You can use like an invisible marking pen or whatever that you could get for sewing. Okay, I have that. Now let's see. I would need this on a fold, which I'm not going to have. So let me cut these two pieces out, and then I can possibly fold this and use, we're going to see. If not, I just have to cut another piece of black felt. Let me see, I'm gonna here, line that up there. So I'm just gonna line it on my marker. I'm gonna use my rotary cutter and just cut that. Okay, so now let me see. So I cut him about, I needed him like 7.5 inches. And when I trimmed up my edges, I think it was a little less than that. So let me see, is this gonna work? I think it's barely gonna squeeze in there. Oh, but I need to go this way. Let's see. I'm going to line up my edges as best I can over here. I think I might squeak by. Where's my clip? Clip this because again I want one continuous piece. Get my marker here. Don't really want to mark my board. I got my iron on this side because we're going to fuse the fabric to the felt. Let me trim my clips. I just want to see if I can clip this. And I'm going to get this one piece cut out. And I'll show you what it looks like. Show you. So this is what you want to end up with. You want to end up with one continuous piece. Let me go clean up these edges and I will be back. Okay, I'm taking us in a different direction. I'm going to cut, so I think what she did, she cut the felt at the same time, the shape at the same time she cut her fabric. So you have to have really good pair of scissors to go through then the two things of felt and the one thing of fabric. The fabric is pretty skinny. So I'm going to cut the fabric at 8 inches. 8 inches, is that what I need? I'm just going to cut it at 8 inches, and that way I know I have enough. And I needed 22 inches long, and I believe this piece is almost exactly 22 inches. The paw print one that I showed you at the beginning was like 20 or 21, so that fat quarter didn't work. So I guess depending on, you know, your fat quarter. So there's that piece. And then we would have our felt. Since I actually drew, but I didn't draw it. I didn't draw the whole thing because I was just going to cut each piece out separately. But we're going to change what we're doing here. Let's do this way so that I can use a pencil and I can draw out nicely stack. You know, now's a good time if you need to get some more wrinkles out. You know, you can iron your fabric, then that will help straighten out your felt. So let's clip. Trying to decide. I think I need to iron on the fusing too. So I think I need to iron on the fusing on the back of the fabric. And then that way, when I cut it out, then all I have to do is iron it to the felt. Sorry, like I said, this is the first time I'm making it, so bear with me. We're gonna do that. We will set that aside. Let's cut our piece. We're gonna cut this one also 8 inches for our ribbon tail. This is, I only need it to be like 13 inches, so I'm okay with the length, but we will need the 8 inches. Whoopsie. Yeah, since my blade is kind of dull, I was kind of going back and forth, but I kind of made a crazy edge. But that's okay, because I think when we shape the bow, we won't need to, or the tail, we're not going to need that. And then we will use this to wrap the center, to make like a center of your bow. So let's see, directions on the fusing. I got some parchment paper under here, so I'm just going to lay that so I don't get it all over my mat board, just in case it overhangs. My fusing, I guess we need to cut that as well. So I need it it is like 14 inches, so this will be okay for my tails, my bow tail, because that's all I need. So I just need to cut this 8 inches. I need to cut one piece 8 inches, since it doesn't look like it's a very straight edge. We will cut this 8 inches. that will go with for my tail. So again, I just need to iron on the fusible webbing. I'm going to cut it a little. I'm going to cut a little off because it looks like it is longer or wider than the 8 inches. I'm going to cut it just a shy under the 8. Okay, that should work. I'm going to make sure it comes all the way to the end. Put a marker all over my hand. I will clip that, hold that in place. That's all we're gonna need there. Okay, the instructions say we're gonna do the rough side to the fabric. Press for 5 to 8 seconds with hot, dry iron, let cool. So, and this is the first time I'm using fusible webbing too. That's first for everything. Okay, so we're gonna let that cool, it says. Stick that up there. Now I need a piece that's gonna be at least the full length of this one, which is 22 inches by the 8. So I will need to cut this 22 inches, and I'm going to have overhang. So we're going to have to cut it 22. My parchment paper so I don't get that mixed up with my fusible webbing. Flip my board. So I can get my 22 inches. Knocking everything out of the way. My 22. So I just picked this up at Walmart. And then I need it 8 inches. This one aside. So now let's iron on parchment paper. Like I said, I don't need a mess everywhere. So we're going to stick my fabric down. If you want, we can press it again, get the wrinkles out. Those strings out. And I'm thinking once the fusing's on, I don't think your fabric will fray at the end. But I'm not sure. 5 to 8 seconds. Okay, I think that one is good. Yay. I can feel it. So then I need to try to look to see which one had the drawing on it. So make sure okay, then gently peel off. This says cover with a damp press cloth. Well, I'm not going to do with a damp cloth. With iron on wool setting, press firmly for 10 to 15 seconds. Repeat lifting, overlapping iron. See, so probably me ironing it. I got regular iron. Was not what I was supposed to do. Okay. Comes up over there, but the paper's starting to rip, so I'm kind of shorter piece, the one that I did not cut out, this is the right piece, correct? Is this gonna be? Okay. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to trim this up because otherwise this backing is going to stick to everything. Scissors are going to make it through 3 layers of stuff. Afraid it's going to stick to everything. But let's give it a whirl. Got my parchment paper down. Let's leave that. Let's take a look at this one. Let's make sure we look like we're fused. Hey, it looks like we're fused. How about that? So we're going to lay our other piece of felt on the back. Make sure, let's clip it. Let's get our pattern. Let's make sure our edges are even here. When I draw, I can just draw right off the edge. I'm going to do this so we know where our center's at. Unclip it. I'm going to turn this way. Line up. Yeah, line up. My lights are shining in my eyes. line it up and clip it. And then we're going to continue drawing. Should be able to pull this up, clip it like maybe here, there. I even got some of these kind of clips. And then we're going to go attempt to cut all three. Let's see, those ones don't really work. These ones really don't either. Okay, there is that piece cut out. So we have one pretty fabric, which is fused to our felt. And then we have one other piece of felt. I might trim up these edges over here. So then we have one piece of felt, loose felt, that when we put our wire in the middle, we're going to glue around the outside. That off to the side. Make sure this looks like it's fused. Okay, it looks like it's fused, and I'm just wondering if like I said, this is going to be a close one. Just wondering if I can use that one as my piece and just cut. Be stingy with your materials until you get it down. And then you can make a whole mess of them. You could probably, you know, do this step and do that step. And if you want to make, you know, these would probably be cute for a craft show. You could sell them. People can, you know, put them in their wreaths. I just wanted to try this out and see if this is something I would want to mass produce for my craft shows. So that is kind of why I'm trying it out. Now let me make the mistakes so you don't have to. Okay. Woo. Okay, I think I'm going to shut my iron off and unplug in my hot glue gun because that is what we are using next. I'm going to work on making the center band that's going to go around the bow. I want to get that done so it can cool. So I took my leftover fat quarter. I only had a 2-inch piece, so then I cut my felt about 3/4 of an inch, because what we're going to do is we're going to lay it over. We're going to hot glue it and lay it over. So I got my hot glue gun ready. Again, if you're using hot glue, be very careful. So again, all I'm going to do is glue the fabric, and I'm just bending it over. It's on my lily dog hair and my blue glitter. I don't know how much we're going to need, so we're just going to go down a ways, and then we'll figure that measurement out later. Let's see. Just drop everything on the floor. I at least got 12 inches going now. Oh, I could do the whole length because what's ever left of the fat quarters is shorter than the felt. Cut this off here, and then and make sure our felt is all the way up against the edge, and then we're just going to glue. We're going to overlap. So we're just gluing the ribbon on itself with the hot glue. So then that way this will give us a nice finish top. So then that is what we are going to wrap around the center. Okay, let's get to our pieces. So we have the fabric, the pretty sides down, which is fused to some black felt. And then we have a second piece of black felt. And what we are going to do, we're going to hot glue all the way around. So get as close as you can to the edge. we're going to be cutting our chicken wire. But I need some felt because what we're going to do is what Jackie did. She covered the edges so the edges of the chicken wire don't poke out. I'm going to go get some snippers so I can cut my chicken wire. It's not that thick, but my scissors are already dull, and then I need to cut some smaller pieces of felt. I will be back. Okay, would you believe I didn't hit record in the last part of my video? So I'm going to record making a second bow, the parts that I missed. So we're going to cut the chicken wire. I'm going to cut one 9.5 inches. Oh, and I don't think I brought my cutters down. I'm going to cut one 9.5. But I'm going to cut in between, kind of where it's kind of twisted. And then the other one, I believe I was going to cut 20.5 inches. And what's working is it's kind of ending up in the middle of those twisted sections. So just your chicken wire, since it's gonna keep coming undone. What I had down here was a pipe cleaner to keep it closed. Okay, we're gonna cut. I cut some small pieces of felt. I think they're like 3 inches wide, and I made them 3 by 3, which I didn't need them to be 3 because the chicken wire was only 2 inches. So you're gonna put like a lot of glue right on the end, because you're gonna want to protect those sharp edges of the chicken wire. You're not gonna want those going through, poking through your bow. So I just lay in it like halfway up the felt. Get some good glue globs right on the ends. And then I'm going to just put glue so that I can just fold it over, and I'm folding it on itself. And then you can come back if you want and trim up the sides. So you can make them like 2 inches, because that's, like I said, that's, or maybe it was like 2 1/4 was the chicken wire. I'm going to do that to our small piece as well. And the reason why I made the bow and the bow center the size that I did was because I found the 2-inch chicken wire. You know, so feel free. I'm sure you can get 4-inch chicken wire, and you can online or something, and you can then make yourself a bigger bow. But this is how it turned out. I just didn't get the ending recorded for you. So I mean, it measures like about 12.5 long. And it ends up being like about 7 to 7.5 inches wide. So I was kind of putting it on, I didn't realize I didn't have the last part recorded, because I was editing the rest of my video. It's gonna be another long one, sorry. I just need to find a video thing that I can like do a voiceover. So then I can just kind of speed through some of the things, but yet just tell you in the voiceover what I did. Okay, so we're trimming those down. So the one I'm making, I did buy regular paw print fabric from the Bolt. So I did get this at Hobby Lobby. So this is what our bow will be. So I do have the one side glued. I think that's what I got done in the video. I have the top and then the sides glued. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our 20.5 inch piece of chicken wire, and we're going to put this in here. So it should fit nice and snug in there. Make sure, you know, it's about center. And then what we're going to do, we're not going to tack that down or anything. We're just going to let it sit in there, and we're going to then just glue this side shut. So remember, we fused the fabric to some felt, and then we had a second piece of felt cut, and that's what I'm making. So the second piece of felt is basically to finish off the back, and it'll hide your chicken wire. Your chicken wire is just going to be used so you can shape your bow. So get your hot glue as close as you can to the edge. I think the toughest thing that I had even making this one is trying to get that fusible webbing on bonded to the fabric. So, you know, maybe that's not a good brand that I bought from Walmart. Maybe I do have to try. I got more marker all over me too. Maybe I just have to try a different brand. You know, maybe I can buy something like from Joann Fabrics or something that's on a bolt. So we're going to get the ribbon tail part. I don't have any of this glued yet. So again, I'm just going to go around at least one side of it, and then we will add the chicken wire to the center of this one. You all have to let me know if anybody creates videos. Do you forget to hit record? Whoops. I was even talking. But I wasn't paying attention that I was not recording. Again, when you're using hot glue, just be careful. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to, like I did the bow part, I'm going to get both sides glued. And you get glue strings everywhere. And then we can slide this one in. So then you're going to slide your shorter one into the tail. Again, just making sure it's in the middle so I can fill it right there. We'll glue this center part first. Okay, and that is our tail. Lots of dog hair and glitter. So again, if your pattern is directional, make sure, you know, when you're putting these together, make sure, try to get some of this stuff off. Need like a lint brush. Because black, if you do like a lighter fabric, probably use white. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to put glue over here and we're going to go to the centers. I still have my center line. Not sure if you guys can see that or not. So we're going to bend that, take it to the center. I'm going to hold it down. We can use our clips. So that will help hold it down and in place, because you kind of want to get your glue to be set up. Use some tape, get some of this glitter off. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to glue up this end. And then we're going to bend it toward the center. So make sure you have good scissors. That's my biggest takeaway from this. Make sure you have good scissors. And make sure your pattern lines up, because all of our edges should match. I did zip tie the middle, and then I also put a zip tie in so somebody could attach it to a wreath or wherever you wanted to put it. But I should have put, I have reusable zip ties, so then they would be able to take it on and off. This one is a permanent zip tie, but like I said, I should have, I'll have to figure out where my, I put them separate so I wouldn't use them. Okay, so now that this is all put together, I'm just gonna scrunch 2 times in the center. And then that's gonna give us our bow. See, my pieces here aren't matching. So I can see my underneath. So like I said, have good scissors. Make sure your pattern matches. Scrunch up, and how do I want to do this? So if I scrunch it that way, is that how I know? I must have scrunched this way. The other one I must have scrunched from the front. My glue isn't really, I see this piece isn't really on very good. So you're gonna kind of scrunch, because I kind of wanted a indent in the front. Okay, get my zip tie. Just gonna zip tie right in the middle. I got it up backwards. Hold on, zip tie it. Oh, geez Louise, Kath. Okay, line up your 2 pieces together. Sorry. I thought I said with the thing it may not fray. We're going to put our 2 pieces together. I don't like, this is super bunchy in the front, this one right here. Again, if you have patterns, make sure your pattern is going the same way on your bow and on your ribbon tail. Okay, so that's the way I want it. I'm going to stick a zip tie under here. So again, if somebody wants to use it to attach to something, they can. I'm not going to make it too tight. But tight enough. And again, I forgot my... I didn't make it tight enough that the zip tie didn't come out. So I kind of decide which do you want as the top or the bottom. Like I said, this pattern, I think I liked it this way. So this is what we are going to use as our center. You can pick whatever part of the thing of the bow that you want. So if I use this, then I get, I'm gonna get a paw print on the middle. So I'm just gonna cut a little of this off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put glue on this. We're going to hold it in place for a little bit, let it set up. And then when we come down, I'm going to cut it a little longer because we're going to put a finish edge. So I'm going to put a little glue here. I'm going to fold that down. Fold it a little further down. Let me add more glue because that probably just all dried. Okay, I'm gonna make a bigger section. So we'll hold that. Your felt is gonna collect all your glue strings and then we'll put this down. Ooh, a lot of glue strings. So then I'm just gonna put a bunch of glue here. Now I just need to be careful and flip it over. Okay, and then we're gonna hold that in place. So then that just gives your bow this wrap around. It's just going to give it a finished look. But here's the bow. Here's what this one looks like. All of our little strings. But what you're going to do is then with your chicken wire in there, you can now form your bow. You can form your bow loops. And make the bow. So then this is the one I started with the video on. And then here is the second one because I forgot to record the ending. So this is what you have. Your edges are just going to be your raw felt, obviously in your fabric with the fusible webbing stuff. That should help so it doesn't fray. But those are our bows. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.